All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you might be. It is I, this guy right here, L Teddy 27, official. All my information is there. Hey, let me say what's up to the people in the chat. Hey, little baby. Hey, Drew's girl. Oh boy, what just happened? Sorry about that. Hey, little baby. Hey, Drew's girl, Nappy Child, Mod Squad is in the building. Hey, y'all. Hey. Um, y'all, we are going to do some unpacking today. Some unpacking. Shondo's around the room. Shondo's throughout the chat. What is going on? So, if you all recall, about a year or so ago. No, I think that was back in 2019 now. Yeah, we're going back to 2019 now. That was about 2 years ago now. We did an unpacking about a year and a half ago, I'll say, tail end of 2019. We did an unpacking of the Colin Kaepernick situation with the NFL, and we did a whole lot with that. And so today we're going to have another day of that. I hope that you all enjoy the video. I have been doing some research. I have been looking at this stuff. Hey, Listasia. Hey, everybody, as you all come in. And I really want to break this down because there's a lot to unpack and there's a lot going on here. And there's a lot that we really can talk about and discuss. And it doesn't have to be where you are all into sports. You are the sports gal or the sports guy like I am. But there are still things that can and should be unpacked with this case that I think you might be interested in or that we need to be made aware of. Um, Now, if you remember just a bit of history, I did a short video about this, about Deshaun Watson. This is maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. Maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. I did a video about Deshaun Watson, about what was going on, some of the preliminary accusations and things like that. At that time, I believe there were less than 10 accusers at that time. Now we're up to 22. There have been 22 civil lawsuits filed, civil complaints filed against one Mr. Deshaun Watson. Let me give you his a little bit about him. Deshaun Watson, he is the starting quarterback of the Houston Texans. I don't know how much longer that's going to be, and not just because of what's going on with him, but he's been trying to get out of that contract with the Houston Texans for a while now. they haven't been doing well. Houston Texan has been a dumpster fire. They have, have been having fire sales on their players. Remember, they got rid of Deshaun Watson about a year ago. During the during NFL trades about a year. Last year they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, I should say, and we know they've gotten rid of J.J. Watts. Um, a couple years ago they got rid of Jadeveon Clowney. They have been unloading, and so Deshaun Watson has still been there, and but it's not a good look for that team in terms of their future and how they should fare in the NFL. So he naturally, like any player, wants to get the hell out of Dodge and go away. He's 25. He went to Clemson University. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. He went to Clemson University. He's the clean cut guy. He's the guy. He don't got the dreads. He ain't got the wicks and all of that stuff in his head. He got the nice low cut, um, nice teeth, pretty face, 6'2", nice, built. Everybody charismatic. He's the nice. He's not. He is, or he has put himself out to be in that image of what the NFL wants to have. Checks all the boxes. He checks the minority box. He checks the box. Get into this. He checks the box where he's not too dark. He's dark enough to be embraced by the entirety of the black population, but not too dark where he scares away the white people descended from the Caucasus Mountains. That's important. Um, but he has that good boy image, always going to do the right thing, always knows the right things to say, and puts that out there. Does very little, says very little, and just flies under the radar. Goes out there, plays the game, has a good press conference, and take it on home. Now, he has the pedigree. He won a national championship out there at Clemson. He went in the first round to the Texans, and has all of those good things going for himself. And we hadn't heard anything bad. And so I keep my ear to the ground in sports. Now, about 2 years ago in 2019, I had heard something. I was in I had heard something while I was in Texas. I had heard something from some friends and some associates that I have there about Deshaun Watson, and that something was about to come out, and it didn't. And so because it didn't come out, I just kind of, said, well, it was a lot more going on. I was more invested in what was going on with Colin Kaepernick, my frat brother, and so forth and so on. So I just didn't, because nothing came out. I had heard some rumblings, but nothing came out. I said, it's going to be another one of them. So, because you hear these types of rumblings all of the time. Let's be clear. Athletes, be they NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, uh, hockey, you name it, there's a whole lot of things that if you have your ear to the ground, you will hear. There's a whole lot of rumblings that go on. There's always something big that could, if it catches fire, could explode for them. But in most cases, it stays under the radar. Somebody gets paid off, somebody gets talked off the ledge, somebody talks to somebody who gets their people out and talks to the person, and they decide to go away. And you never hear about it. And such is the cases of, I don't want to use terms like most or majorities, but I'll just say more often than not, you hear these cases or things like that if you put your ear to the ground um, with athletes. So when the Deshaun Watson thing came, I just put that on the shelf as, okay, another case where somebody did something not, they may not should have done, it'll go away. They got people, they got a whole team behind them to make it go away. We ain't gonna hear about this no more. So then I want to say late February, um, friend of mine, the one that hit me up about the issue before, hit me up and said, "Hey E, it's about to go down." I said, "What?" He said, "Your boy Deshaun Watson." Now I'll be honest, I probably was drinking from the Deshaun Watson Kool-Aid. I didn't have no problem with Deshaun. Deshaun Watson, for all intents and purposes, was doing the right thing. I ain't had no problem for him. I wasn't one of the people that was like, "Ooh, Deshaun Watson, I can't stand him." I was like, "Okay, cool." I'm rooting for everybody black, so clearly I'm rooting for Deshaun Watson. So I'm just gonna be honest. Um, and so my friend says, "Yeah." He mentioned the name of the lawyer. I wasn't familiar with the lawyer, and I went and started doing some homework on the lawyer, and found that he is not a rinky-dink lawyer. He's a lawyer that he's had some high-profile cases. I'm not going to go down the grocery list of cases that he's had. The lawyer's name is Tony Buzbee, based in Houston, and Tony Buzbee is a high-profile attorney down there in Houston. Anyway, he was taking on. My friend told me, listen, he got a couple women that have gone to him about Deshaun. And, you know, I think it's going to explode because Tony Busby don't go away quietly. So I said, okay, well, we'll see. Let's keep it moving. Let's see how this pans out. So then you hear the first rumblings start to hit some of the blogs, some of the more obscure blogs, and so forth. And I was like, oh, okay. Then when it got to some other blogs, that's when I put my video out. I was like, oh, my friend wasn't lying. So I put the video out, and I showed y'all some of the court proceedings and the court documents that detailed specifically what some of these accusers were saying happened to them. Very graphic in nature at times, very make you go. Um, and so the video was titled "Is Deshaun Watson into Anal Play?" or something like that. Because there was a consistent theme in these accusers saying that Deshaun Watson likes digits inserted into his rectum. I'll just go like that. Um, and we'll get into a little more specifics about that as well. Um, hey everybody, as you all come in the room. All right, so um, fast forward to now, we're up to 22 accusers. I believe all the 22 that we have so far are being represented by Tony Buzbee. Tony Buzbee had a press conference, if not yesterday, Monday. It was either Monday or yesterday. I probably should have wrote down what day it was. I think it was Monday. But Tony Buzbee had a press conference with one of the accusers who at this point was ready to reveal herself. Hey, MVN. Hey, Jada. What's going on? Hey to everybody coming in the chat. Um, so I know, Jada, we're going to unpack this. Oh, don't worry, Jada. There is much more to the story. So Deshaun now has 22 accusers. Tony Buzbee came right out because see, Tony Buzbee knows how this stuff goes. I told you he's a high profile attorney. Hey, little baby. And he's not going to leave any stone unturned, any box unchecked. He immediately in the beginning of the press conference, and I put the link to the press conference in the description box, so you can go back and look. It's like a 45-minute press conference. All parts of it you may not need because he does during some parts of the press conference just have different women that come on that lead organizations that fight sex trafficking and crimes against women and stuff like that. But the accuser comes on first. Anyway, Tony Buzbee comes right out and say, "Hey, we got 22 people." He said, "I'm going to be honest with you. I turned away 5 of them because I didn't believe that those 5 women had substantial enough evidence or credence behind their allegations where I could represent them, in this whole thing." So he was trying to allude to the fact that, hey, I've been doing my homework. I ain't just been saying hello, anybody just coming to me and I'm going to take every case. But what he was setting up was, hey, um, right, Jada, you know me over here. We be talking about stuff before other people start to talk about it. So Deshaun Watson then goes, Tony Buzbee then says, I done turned away some people, but these 22 are substantial. They are viable cases. I am going to represent them. They are not looking. This is going to be civil cases. They're not looking for money. They're just looking for justice. Now, to play devil's advocate, some say if you're looking for justice and not money, why go civil and not criminal? But if you go into the story, here's where it gets hairy. One of the members of Deshaun Watson's team of people, not just lawyers, but his team of people working on this, is the son of, I believe, either the police chief down to Houston PD or one of the lead detectives down to the Houston PD. So one of the reasons that Deshaun Watson's accusers' attorney says we ain't going to Houston PD with what we know, because he has fear that they're going to do something with this evidence or do something not. They're going to let stuff out that shouldn't be let out because there's this conflict of interest on Deshaun Watson's team. And see, there's always these conflicts of interest because when you talk about conglomerates such excuse me, such as NFL teams, please be clear. Let me get my water. I already know I'm muted today. NFL owners don't, their money that they've made to have these NFL teams isn't in sports in the NFL. Their money is made in other business ventures and other companies that they have. And they, rub elbows and shake padded hands with big people in big time places. So if you're talking about the owner of the Houston Texans, he has access to the chief of police in Houston, to all of the politicians in Houston or in the greater southern or in the great southeastern Texas area. Let's be clear. So that means trickling down that he has people in place on these teams to work this out, to go and talk to the right people, make stuff go away, handle things so that it never sees the light of day. And so that's what I was talking about earlier when I talked about a lot of times there's so many things that come up, you hear rumblings on, and it never sees the light of day because they have people in place to make this go away. They have people connected to people on the insides of government agencies and organizations, of all types of, you name it, they have ties there. So it does not surprise me that Tony Buzbee, this attorney for the accusers, would say, I'm not giving my information to not me. Now, if a accuser herself wants to go and give this information to them, she does that at her own behest. But I'm not going to give it to them simply because I don't trust that they'll do right by it, since somebody on Deshaun Watson's team is the son of a member of Houston PD. A mess. The owner is cool with 45. Well, they got rid of remember they fired the head coach mid-season this past year. That was well, I can't think of his name. Brian, he used to be offensive coordinator for the Patriots, if you recall. And damn, I can't, anyway, they fired him mid-season. Can't think of his name. Anyway, back to where we were going. Hey Fayette, what's good, my love? Little baby, you say we faster than mainstream network. Child. Now, child, y'all know we break news over here. Remember how we broke the news on Andrew Gillum? We broke that before anybody broke. Remember remember we had the Andrew Gillum story before you saw it in the major blogs and in the major places. You know, we be breaking news over here. We come with the information over here. So um moving on. So he comes out, he says, listen, I ain't just taking any case. I got these 22. These 22 have substantial cases. They are credible. We're moving forward in civil court. Hey, love of my piece. So he has this press conference, because now, kind of like we talked about yesterday with the Ti and Tiny case. Up until now, the accusers did not reveal themselves. They did not say who they were. They were not mentioning names. At this point, three of them have come forward and said who they are. I have two of them. I have been feverishly all morning looking and investigating to get the name of the third one. I'm sure if I would have had 10 more extra minutes, I probably could have got the name of the third accuser, but whatever. It's okay. Um, the Hey Yana, the first accuser, we see her on this press conference. Her name is Ashley Solis. And she comes on the press conference and she talks about how difficult this was to her, how ever since this happened, she's a licensed massage therapist. She cannot go and earn a living and do what she loves anymore because now sometimes her hands start shaking when she has to touch certain parts of people's bodies, and she's had to cut some of the treatment short and so forth, because she couldn't deal and grapple with all of her feelings and emotions. And it was very compelling. She starts crying and, all of this, that, and the third, and she talks about how this is her livelihood and now that could be torn down. There's another, the other woman, her name is Lauren Baxley. They read her letter, and you can go on the link that I sent you with the press conference. They actually read the letter at the press conference as well. And the letter was very well written. It was a letter that her therapist told her to write to Deshaun Watson, but not give it to her. And that's a common exercise that you do in with in therapies. When someone has hurt you, they'll ask you to write a letter to that person and get all of your feelings and emotions out so that you can just get it out and express yourselves and vent almost. So they read this letter and she goes into details, and one of the parts she goes into details talking about how you know he was very unprofessional, and she told him to at least put on a towel. And at one point he didn't have on no towel, and it made her uncomfortable. And he told her to go and massage his anus using her fingers, and she was like, "That goes against the ethics of my profession. When you have massage therapy, you sign ethics clauses and agreements, and by no stretch of the imagination should digits be placed in or inside of or around the anus and so forth." So, and if you have the various licenses in massage therapy, that's a no-no. So, but he insisted, and instead she talks about not actually using her fingers. I think she talked about using the side of her hand to try to and then she went on to talk about um stating that she felt cornered because he was a very famous person. He had millions of followers. He had the backing of the Houston Texans. He could easily shut her down, cost her career. And she talked about, that's my livelihood. I don't have a college degree. and so forth. I just have my education and degrees in massage therapy and my licenses. And if you cut me off, if she had her own little, shop or whatever, if you cut me off, or mess up my reputation, that's gonna cost me a living. So she talked about feeling cornered, and it was very well written, well crafted. You got to go hear it because it was very well written. So yeah, you have to keep your hands clean. Now, let's talk about some of the things that is being alleged. Now, there's a pattern with these allegations. Most, if not all of the accusers, I should say that Deshaun Watson reached out to them via social media, mainly through IG and IG DMs. And he would reach out to them and say, "Hey, I see you do massages. Can you come give me a massage?" But it's not just massage therapists. He also reached out to just, if I'm just gonna put it honestly, IG skanks. And I shouldn't call these women skanks. Let me take that back. Let me retract that. Instagram models who have no history of massage therapy, no history of licenses in massage therapy, so much so, and they have the DMs and text messages and stuff like that. Um, where he would say, "Okay, I know you don't do massage therapy, but you think you could do it just for me this one time?" And I thought it was great that Tony Buzbee just kept on saying, "Hey, this is Deshaun Watson, who's starting quarterback of the Houston Texans and has limitless resources. They have scores of people that work for the Houston Texans who have the highest degrees of licensing that you can have in massage therapy, that he can go, and if he really needs to get it worked out, they have team doctors there that can give him all of the attention that he needs. They have scores. I have very good friends of mine who are on the team of sports, the sports medicine team there, the athletic trainers there, on the Houston Texans. And there's limitless resources there. Even if he wanted to go outside of the team and have that, he has a lot of money. So he has access to top tier massage therapists. So it does look nefarious if, hey, Amber, you are someone with these resources, but asking somebody to give you a massage that don't have a license in massage therapist, don't have nothing to do with massage therapists, and have never done a massage to nobody in their life. Not the massage that you were claiming that you needed. And so he was flying women out from some from LA, some from Atlanta, most of them from Houston, where he resides. And they all talk about similar stories about him wanting to get naked, and they would ask him to put on a towel, and he wouldn't put on a towel. Maybe he would put just a washcloth over his junk. And then at some point, and this is pretty consistent, some point he always focuses on his butt, his glutes, always drawing attention to the glutes, the anus area, wanting his anus and glutes stimulated, at times wanting digits inserted. Now, I'm not going to say that, because people are going to take this some kind of way and say that we're trying to allege that this man is homosexual. I'm not saying he's homosexual. Just because you like it up the shoot does not make you homosexual. What makes you homosexual is you being attracted to men. And since he's attracted to women, he doesn't qualify as being homosexual. He's just a heterosexual man who likes anal play and who likes stuff playing with his anus or stuff inside his anus, allegedly. So, and that's the thing, Jaded. I see you said there are many therapists dying to get work. So if he really wanted exactly, if he really wanted professional work, there is any number of people that he could have went to. And he always, hey, Tabitha, thank you for coming through and listening, because this is something that's not being talked about a lot. But, and I know sometimes we as Black people, we kind of want to shy away from stuff that puts us in a negative light. But those days are gone. That's why a lot of things happened in our community, because we were taught and raised, oh no, We don't want to put our own people in trouble because of our history with the police and with the judicial system and with America and how America is um is has done by black people. So a lot of times we would shield and protect our own when we knew they were doing wrong. But those days are gone because at a certain time when you start to affect the community and you don't do right by us as a community, then we owe it to us as a community to speak out and say, nah, bruh is wrong. Get him out of here. And so I think that's what's ended up, and we'll get to more of this in a little bit about this case. Let me go back through more of the details. So they all talk about him gravitating toward the um the butt. Now, let me also paint the picture of, because I was reading through some of the text messages because Tony Buzbee, what he did do is he released on his website, on their website, three packets, and in each one of the packets they have documents and text messages and of DMs and screenshots of DMs and all of this. There's a lot of stuff that they put out there just for the viewing public to just go see, to paint the case against Deshaun Watson and all of this stuff. He would reach out to them in the DMs and say, "Hey, can you come do a massage for me? If they were out of town, I'll fly you out." One of the accusers who was in Atlanta said he flew her out there, said paid for the flight, paid for the Uber. She said, "I didn't bring my table. I couldn't get it on a plane or whatever." He went and borrowed a massage table from the Houston Texans, which puts the Houston Texans involved with this now. Oftentimes, a lot of the ladies who he wanted to give him massage that did not have tables, he ended up going to the Houston Texans and getting one of their massage tables as well to bring to wherever it was happening, so that there was a massage table there. And there were times where they said it happened just in his bed, but it's easier with a massage table because you could be laid flat and they have the little hole where the head goes and you can breathe easily and so forth, and it makes it much easier with the table. So now we have the Houston Texans, now they're involved. So now we have a NFL team involved with this. We'll talk more about that as well. He would tell them, okay, can you come dressed like one of your Instagram pictures? And he would show them a picture or point to a picture that they had taken, maybe scantily clad, in their Instagram feed, and say, "Can you come dressed like this?" Or if they didn't have one, he would give them a picture of a woman that he said, "Can you come dressed like this?" Because he wanted them to be dressed a certain way. Let's be clear. If you truly are here for a massage professionally, massage therapists come in scrubs. You don't dictate to the professional massage therapist what they wear, because this is professional. This ain't about me, boo. This is about you. This is about you getting the treatment that you need. So, um, he he had the women sign NDAs, because he always would tell them, "Listen, I need my privacy," because he did reach out to some professional massage therapists, and he would always tell them, "Listen, I need a private room. I'm a high profile individual and I do want some privacy." And he always would keep going back to, "I need privacy. I don't want anybody around." And that's not uncommon for someone who might be a celebrity or an athlete or somebody of notoriety to say, "Listen, I'm just trying to go out here and get me a good massage. I don't need the paparazzi. I don't need fans or whatever. Because I can't relax that way. So just let me go and relax, have my little massage and keep it moving." So I'm sure that they have ways, rooms, and different things in their, massage parlors or whatnot, or in their spots where they can make that happen. And they were, willing to oblige him. Remember, I told y'all this is Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is good old boy. He ain't the Adam Pac-Man Joneses of the world. You know what I'm saying? He ain't a whole score of other athletes that we can name that when they hit you up, you got to look like, ooh. He is the good old boy, the clean cut, the, whitewash, I don't suspect him to do anything. So, um, so Deshaun had that going on. And so, of course, any professional or even the ones that want real massage therapists, when somebody like Deshaun Watson reaches out to you and says, "I'd love to be your client," you say yes because that could mean more high price, high profile clientele, which means more money for your business. That's what you want as someone who's a businessman or woman. So what ends up happening is this: these women come out there, and every time it's the same thing. He starts off, and most of the time when we read a lot of these allegations, they start off by saying he was laying on his stomach when it started to go awry. They do talk about a lot of times the first time they felt something was wrong was when he started off laying on his back, and he would get naked and put a towel on. Some of them said they felt uncomfortable with that, and he would say stuff like, "Oh, I get real hot easily, so I'm just gonna wear this little towel." And he wouldn't wear like a full towel; he would wear like a washcloth, and a washcloth barely covers your groin. And if you're a man of a certain size, a washcloth ain't gonna do a whole lot for you. Let's be clear. Now, he would go, they would start, and so he would be on his stomach, butt in the air. They always talked about, now there's a way that as a man, women, you got to understand, there's positioning that happens. When you land on your stomach, there is positioning that's happening. One or two things is going to happen. Either you're going to push it down between your legs where it sticks out, you know, between your legs, or you're going to push it up where it's on your stomach and you're literally laying on your junk. If you're laying on your stomach, flat on your stomach. Now, they all talked about, well, not all, but many of them talked about the fact that he always made it a point to, have his testicles exposed to, that was a big part of it. And then they talked about keep him continuing to direct him toward his anus, not just the glutes. You got to massage the glutes. The glutes are the largest muscle in the body, of the 256. Well, it depends on which anatomy and physiology book. Some say 240, some say 242, some say 246, some say 248, but it's around in the 240s depending on which anatomy and physiology book that you read, what medical book journal you read. Around that many muscles in the body, the largest being the glutes. The glutes are the largest muscles in the body. So they do have a lot of tension in them, and they do need a lot of attention in terms of massaging and things like that. So that's not uncommon. What is uncommon is you directing someone to the anus area. What is uncommon is you telling someone to insert their digits into your anus. That's when all of the professional people said, wait a minute, nope, can't do that. Now, this is where I'm going to veer off from what the court proceeding said. I'm going to talk about where my estimation goes with some of this. The reason you start to hear from some of the non-licensed massage therapists, because if they're not licensed, they don't know the ethics involved with massage therapy, all of the rules and policies, protocols, procedures, and standard operating procedures that go along with massage therapy. So I'm sure it went awry for them where there was the insert your finger into my rectum. Because even if you're not a massage therapist, I might go with you saying, okay, massage the inside of my glutes, my ass cheeks. Maybe, okay, I'm gonna go with you. But at the moment that you're telling me to insert digits into your rectum, that's where even you be like, now, wait a minute. No. Anyway, so they all talk about feeling uncomfortable, feeling pressure not to say anything. Remember, I said they all signed NDAs That was a common practice of him having them sign NDAs. They signed their NDAs, and so forth. Um, Now there's the story. So once all of this started coming out, Deshaun Watson's team of people, his lawyers, publicists, agents, all of the people involved in his team, going and saying, "Oh, you got these people accusing him. We're going to find some people that haven't accused him," and they found several individuals that had stated, "Oh, I've done massages for Deshaun many times, and there's never been anything inappropriate or unprofessional." Because that's when you got a team of lawyers, that's what you pay them to do. Tony Buzbee said, "Oh, that's what you got. Find them." He pulled out the DMs of a woman by the name of Jazz Brooks. Jazz Brooks works for USA Track and Field. She's on the medical staff for USA Track and Field. And she is one of the people that came out and says, "Listen, I've given Deshaun Watson massages many times. It's never been matter." Nope, don't take my word for it. Let me read what she said. Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to read exactly what it says. Her statement, where's it at? Come on. Y'all know my computer be acting up whenever I need to act right. Okay. Let me read this. It says, Janice Brooks is a licensed massage therapist in Texas with bachelor's and master's degrees in kinesiology from Texas Southern University. She is certified in lymphatic drainage massage, prenatal massage, oncology massage, decompression, um, Graston technique, and cryotherapy. She is currently a medical staff member for Team USA Track and Field. That's who she is. Here's her statement. And this is one of the people that Deshaun Watson's team of people put out there. She says, quote, I began providing massage therapy to Deshaun Watson in 2018 and have massaged him at least 40 times since then. I worked with him once or twice a week during the season and as needed during the off season. Early on, he said he wanted me to focus on his hamstrings. He had a trainer that worked on his upper body and just to work on the lactic acid out of his legs. This included the groin, glutes, and feet. He never asked me any questions and hardly ever spoke at all. In all that time, I never had a single uncomfortable or inappropriate experience with Deshaun. That is her statement. Tony Buzbee said, "Oh, really? That's what you put out in public. Let me read these good DMs that you sent to one of the people that we got." So in these DMs that Tony Buzbee provided, the attorney for the accusers, here is what the same Jazz Brooks wrote to another woman. Quote, "I told you I stopped working with Deshaun Watson because I was hearing too much stuff about him messing with other people. He's been doing a lot in the last 3 or 4 months. I even told his ass he needed to be careful because his name's getting around. I just hope don't nobody call me questioning me." The people are coming through with receipts. The people are coming through saying, "Oh, you said this in your statement to the team over there with Deshaun Watson. Hey, boo, I got the DMs right here. Here are the pictures and screenshots of the DMs. Here is what they said. Get some." I was like, "Oh, it really be." All of this is going on. And so you got, and that's what's going to do. When you got these kind of legal fights, you're going to have this back and forth. But after that, some of the other stuff that Tony Buzbee was putting out there in some of these packets, because like I said, I went and looked at the packets. There's plane tickets of when he flew one of the accusers out from Atlanta. There is um verification of Watson bringing massage tables to from the Houston, Texas facilities, using them for the massages. Also, there are members of the Houston, Texas personnel that helped him find some of the the alleged massage therapists. And I'm saying alleged massage therapists because we know all of them were not massage therapists. Also his private, I believe it, I don't think this person works for the Houston Texans, but I think it's his private quarterbacks coach, Quincy Avery. Quincy Avery also was involved with providing him with some of the people. He also reached out to one of the massage therapists and said, "Can you give me access to your Instagram page because Deshaun Watson's girlfriend is having issues and she wants to make sure that you're a real massage therapist because she's having issues." Now, let's be clear. Deshaun Watson has come out and said that he has had consensual encounters with some of the women that have done massages. He has come out and stated that. He has also stated that he's cheated on his girlfriend, as you know, we can see over the last, because he's with a woman by the name of her name is Anais. Oh God, I can't think of the last name. I should have wrote it down. Her first name is Anais. I can't think of her last name. That's his girlfriend. One of y'all will put it in the chat. Anyway, so all of this back and forth, back and forth. It's a lot of compelling evidence. A lot of compelling evidence. Especially that letter, as well as good as the lady was who was at the press conference speaking, Ashley Solis. That letter that Lauren Baxley wrote is phenomenal. And like I said, if you the link that I put in my description box does have the press conference, but toward the end of the press conference, they have they read the letter that Lauren Baxley wrote. Um so I know Jaded Nerd. I know that they broke the law because if you're a massage therapist and if you do anything of this sort, you could lose all your licensing. You have to pay fines. You can you definitely can get some jail time if it's deemed way too nefarious. No, not the Anais from Love and Hip Hop New York. No, not that one. I can't think of the lady's name. Um, Jilly Anais. Thank you. God, I knew it was an Anais in there. That's his girlfriend. Thank you, Nappy Child. See, I told y'all somebody was gonna come. I think Jilly is her last name. Anyway, um, so those are a lot of the facts and allegations in this case. Now, let's talk about the social aspect. Let's break down. So y'all got a picture of what's going on with this, okay? But let's talk about some of the social implications of this. Here are some of the social implications of this. I want to make sure I broke down all of the stuff that was in the packets that they released. They have DM. They got a lot of his DMs. They got the DMs of him asking his accusers to dress like Instagram models for the sessions. They got the a back and forth between one of the accusers and another woman, where she was telling them that, listen, just shake it off, brush it off. You know he works for the NFL. You know they got people behind him. You'll do better just leaving it alone and letting it go. You know, all kinds of stuff. They got the NDA on there and so forth and so on. All of that stuff they got in there. Now, Watson's team has pushed back because they said the lady who went on the press conference, the lady Ashley Solis, says that Tony Buzbee and his team was trying to solicit a $100,000 settlement from said accuser, and that they told them no. But then Tony Buzbee came back to the receipts and said, no, you didn't just tell me no. We did have a back and forward about a settlement. Because and the reason that it doesn't look all of that alarming to me is because, let's be clear, part of that good deal of that $100,000 was going to pay Tony Buzbee and his law firm and court costs and all of the things that it takes for that. And you also have to understand, they're not making criminal charges. These are civil charges and civil lawsuits. And so part of that $100,000 settlement is also because they deemed that it cost them money and compensation for, future or pre or retro monies that they could have made, from their business or whatnot, mental, um breakdown, all of this stuff that goes with civil court proceedings and the verbiage and lingo and vernacular that goes with that. So there was that backup. So the teams are doing what they do. So let's talk about the social implications. Let me come out and say Beats by Dre, who sponsored Deshaun Watson, as well as Nike, who was a sponsor of Deshaun Watson, have both in the last 24 hours said that they're suspending their relationship with him. Now, this is where we get down to the social implications. Now, if you notice, I told y'all I started to hear the clamorings back in February. If little old me heard about it, Nike heard about it, Beats by Dre heard about it, the NFL heard about it. The NFL released a statement a couple days ago, conveniently. And in their statement, let me read this good statement that they put out there. Lord, y'all already know how I feel about the NFL, the plantation. Okay. So the NFL released a statement. Why this thing won't come up? Because my computer is acting real off today. You just want to act off, don't you, today, computer? You just want to not act right. And that's okay. God, whenever I need you to act right, computer, you want to get all panties in a bunch. My computer, big, my computer. Anyway. Oh, and Tabitha, that's what I'm about to get to, some of these social implications. Because there's a lot that goes into this. All right, so let me talk about it. It won't come up for me right now. I'm trying to get it to come up. Since it won't, let me give you a hey, it's me, D, a breakdown of what this means. NFL came out and says, we heard about the Deshaun Watson. We have a few months ago, we've been investigating it. And we have our team of investigators that are doing what they need to do behind the scenes, and they are, working toward a resolution. And they've asked for Tony Buzbee and some of the people that he's representing to come and interview with at the NFL and with our people. Now, let me say this about the NFL. NFL. I noticed how NFL, depending on who the person is, y'all move with, it's the tortoise and the hare. Y'all become the tortoise depending on who it is. When it's the Tom Brady's of the world, when it's the Deshaun Watsons of the world, when it's one of the good old boys, when it's the Ben Roethlisbergers of the world, the people who fit into the image that you all can embrace. The Disney image, the ESPN Disney image. Y'all move with tortoise-like precision then. But no, no, no. When it's somebody else, y'all move quick. We hear about the story on Monday. By Friday, the NFL has suspended them for actions detrimental to the NFL conduct policy, for violation of the NFL conduct policy. Within the week, they don't play them games. They hear about it. Oh, that's what you're doing? Oh, okay, girl, you getting? We'll work that out later. Y'all can have y'all people come talk to us later, baby. You'll be suspended until that time for violation of the NFL conduct policy. I found it. They put this out yesterday. Yesterday. This is what the NFL said in a statement from Mark about Deshaun Washington. They said the allegations are deeply disturbing and we take these issues very seriously. Immediately following news of the first allegations last month, and as has been reported, we initiated an investigation under the NFL's personal conduct policy. We are continuing to closely monitor all developments in the matter. Hey, baby doll access. Now, I told y'all, had Deshaun Watson been Lamar Jackson, I want y'all to put the image in your head of Lamar Jackson versus Deshaun Watson. Oh, yes, we are going down that road. Colorism is involved. Pedigree is involved. All things involving, hair, all things involving who you associate with, all things involving how you speak, all of that stuff is involved. How y'all think this would have played out? And I'm not going to even go down the road if this were a wide receiver or somebody on the defense or a running back. We saw what happened to Ray Rice quickly. Or any other position. I'm going to keep it with the most celebrated position in the NFL. I'm going to keep it narrowed down to quarterbacks, because thank God I could do that, because there was a day where I couldn't have done that because we ain't have but maybe one, if any, black quarterbacks in the league. But at least we're at the point where we do have a few black quarterbacks in the league. If that had been Lamar Jackson last month, like they told you they heard about it last month, I don't believe that either. That's just when some of the major blogs started to get it. But trust me, the NFL knew about it well before last month. Anyway, if it had been certain other members of the NFL, he would have got suspended already. No, Ray Rice ain't playing. Ray Rice ain't played since that incident. And he won't. The NFL ain't having it. And so my point is this. This is where you start to see that even the people, the entities, even though I don't see it for the NFL, but even some of the entities that try to come off as not being cloaked in their white supremacy and white privilege, they always try to force Black people into this bubble, into this box, into, we need you to talk this way. We need you to look this way. We need you to act this way. We need you to put on this. We need you to say that. And if you don't do that, then what they'll say to you is, we can't be held responsible for what will happen. If you don't do this, or if you don't act the way we want you to act, or if you don't carry yourself this way, or if you don't present this certain image, we just can't be held responsible. Look at the cautionary tale of Cam Newton. Let's be clear. The cautionary tale of Cam Newton isn't just the fact that Cam Newton lost in the Super Bowl. You notice the pulling back from Cam Newton. Once Cam Newton started not to have that cookie cutter image. His aesthetic appearance started to go contrary to what the NFL could buy into. He didn't have the low cut no more. Now he wanted to go out nappy dressing. That's not something that we can have on our televisions and for our children across the fruited plains to want to be like. Because if you're a quarterback in the NFL, you have to have the look and presentation that all young boys playing in their backyard with their dad, Tom, and their grandfather, Jedediah, want to aspire to be like, even if you're black. Because if we have our blacks, they have to have a low cut. They have to be clean shaven. They have to always smile all the time. They have to wear clothing that, is appeal. Y'all know what I'm saying? So you had the NFL, you had Nike, and all of these other companies that were sponsoring Deshaun Watson. They knew about this stuff. They heard about this stuff. And you cannot tell me that they did. The NFL just told you they knew about it a month ago and they ain't did nothing. Let me tell you why this happened. It happened because these women had the strength and the courage to say, I'm not going to let you push me into the darkness and make me afraid and bully me and threaten me into staying silent. Because by me not releasing my name, you still are forcing me into silence. And what would end up happening is some kind of way, you know how media, you know how news and blogs works, their names would have got leaked some type of way. So they said, nope. Hey, Jason, I am coming forward. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to let you hear my, because one of the things that that lady said when she first started her statement, she said, my name is Ashley Solis. Remember my name. And she was very, very powerful in what she said. Remember my name. Okay. So it wasn't until they now had a face to go against the allocation. Now all of the companies are swiftly saying, "Oh, we disassociate with that." Oh, because guess what? This person, it was listen. Now I'm gonna give Tony Buzbee credit. Maybe it was serendipitous, or maybe it was more than that. But this first lady that came out, she looks like she might be, of mixed race. So she's fair skinned. She's small, slight, fair skinned and presents herself as someone who the viewing white public can get behind. She came out, she gave very compelling words. She did, she put on the waterworks. Now, I ain't mad if Tony Buzbee them set this up. They set it up beautifully because once that lady got through, you saw the statements come out. The NFL was out next. The Nike was out next. Beats by Dre. All of these people are now removing themselves from Deshaun Watson. But y'all, and here's the thing, and Tony Buzbee said it. Most of the accusers are black women. I think they said, I forgot the number, but I know it was like majority of them were. I think it was like, I think like 14 or 15 were black, 4 were white, and 4 were Hispanic or Latina. And so that means that the majority of these women are black. If Lasha Quante would have came out there, and no offense to all my Lasha Quantes out there, I love y'all to death. If Lasha Quante would have came out there and gave a press conference and said, "Hey, he touched me. He told me to shove my finger in his asshole," they would not. You, y'all know how this would have went. But you had actually Solis that came out there, very fair skinned, very nicely dressed, professionally dressed, I should say. Gave the waterworks. She talked softly. She gave strength when she needed to give strength. She gave vulnerability when she needed to give vulnerability. They followed that up by a woman by the name of Lauren Baxley. I don't know if Lauren Baxley is white, black, blue, or purple, but Lauren Baxley's statement was, I told y'all, was very well written, very well crafted. Now, it's amazing to me, and also let's also talk about ESPN and how they've handled this. A scandal the likes of this, a scandal this big, you would expect ESPN to be screaming, holy hell. You would have thought that every sports center since last month would have had one of the first 2 or 3 stories following this. We ain't had none of that. We ain't had none of that. Because Deshaun Watson was the good old boy. Let's go even further. Now, this is where it's going. Well, we going to get real good with it. Here's what I told you. Where did I tell y'all Deshaun Watson graduated from? Where did I tell y'all Deshaun Watson graduated college from? Got a college national championship with said school. This is where it starts to get real involved. Deshaun Watson went to Clemson University. Clemson University in South Carolina. Who's the head football coach at Clemson University? Dabo Swinney. Yes, that Dabo Swinney. Racist ass Dabo Swinney, who wants all of his black players to fall the fucking line, who wants all of his black players. Remember, he was the one who said, no, we don't believe in this Black Lives Matter over here. All lives matter over here. If my players are going to tell you that it ain't no Black Lives Matter over here, it's all lives matter. That Dabo Swinney. The same Dabo Swinney that has embraced the entire plantation model that football on the professional and collegiate level has embraced since its inception. That Dabo Swinney. And Deshaun Watson learned from Dabo Swinney, and I shouldn't say learned, but was forced by Dabo Swinney. Fall your ass to fucking line, look like this, do this, say what I want you to say, follow what I want you to say, and we'll make it go away. How do we know? There are accusers going back to 2014 and 15 when he was in school at Clemson University. And what did Dabo Swinney and the Clemson University machine of people do? They made it go away. They taught Deshaun Watson, if you do what we say, you follow our model, you give us what we need, you walk how we tell you to walk, you talk how we tell you to talk, you put on what we tell you to put on, we can make anything go away. That's what he learned from racist ass Dabo Swinney and all of those people out there. But hey, Deshaun Watson, let me clue you in. Like we always have to clue in the people. I'm not gonna say Deshaun Watson fully falls into the whole I don't remember my black mode. But when you start to listen to some of these white people that tell you that they can protect you and they'll make it go away, when shit hits the fan, you get reminded real fast, nah, bro, you black. And so now that these accusers, you have faces, you have names, these accusers have come on camera, they have started crying and everything. Now you're going to see this removal. Now you're going to see the pulling away. Oh, no, we don't want no parts of Deshaun Watson. Oh, no, we're not associating with him. Oh, no, we've suspended all the cops. Because remember, Dabo Swinney has won a few championships in the last several years. And so in college football, the only person who probably has more flex in college football is Nick Saban over there. I said it, Nick Saban, for really being all of the University of Alabama fans. Dear God. But you got Nick Saban, you got Dabo Swinney. Those are at the top tier of college football coaches right now. And when Nick Saban or Dabo Swinney goes to the NFL and says, I got somebody for you, this person is a first round pick, guess what they become? A first round pick. When Dabo Swinney came and gave his stamp of approval of Deshaun Watson, and he told it all, and he probably went to the NFL owners and rubbed elbows with them and the coaches and say, don't worry, he's going to fall in line. He says massa. He's gonna fall in line. He's gonna wear what you tell him to wear. He's gonna do what you tell him to do. He ain't gonna ruffle no feathers. He ain't gonna never fall out of line. He's gonna make a good one. Oh yes, and see, this is where you start to have the conversations about how they view us and how they try to force people in this disillusionment that, oh, you'll be protected. We got you. Really? I'm just saying, Cams. We can go to college football debates later, Cams. I know you over there, an Alabama fan. If you live in Tuscaloosa, I know you're an Alabama fan. I can't even say War Eagle in your presence because I know you are over there saying Roll Tide as we speak. Anyway, hey Abby, but we got a situation here where there's so many sides to the coin here. There's so many things that went wrong here. So many women at this point have been, um, I will put it out there, assaulted allegedly. Let's be clear. When you have non-consensual sexual interactions or relations with someone, that is an assault. And professional sports, let's be clear. They're not here about protecting people. They're not about protecting women from sexual assault. They're not about protecting black people from racism. They're not here to protect anything but green. All they care about is how much money they can make. All they care about is the bottom line. If those women would have never put a face to a name, would have never had a name, would have never come on camera, the NFL would have let this ride out until there was actual court proceedings. Because Deshaun Watson was a good old boy. He fell in line. He was one of them. And then Deshaun Watson was delusional enough to think, oh, White Massa is going to protect me if I do what he says. And White Massa is going to make sure that I don't get caught up in all of that that's going on out there because we going to leave them out there. We know it's hot out there. I got the good slave quarters over here. And he even made me a room in the house. So I get to sleep in the big house. I know it's down in the basement, but I'm still in the big house. I ain't out there in the slave quarters. I ain't out there having all kinds of horrible things happen to me. And Master's gonna protect me because I do what Master says. And I wear what Master tells me to wear. And I move how Master lets me move. And that lets me do some things that I shouldn't do. But he gonna protect me. Because I'm a good one. Do I need to start to paint this picture? Let's paint the picture. Then I ain't gonna be on here much longer, but I'm gonna paint this picture before we get off here. Let's look at these good old boys. Let's look at some of these other. Now, I told you, I'm not saying Deshaun Watson is one of these I forgot I'm black type people. But let's have the mysterious case or the curious case of some of the I forgot I'm black people. Do I need to remind you of Tiger Woods? And literally hundreds and hundreds of women that he would prey upon because he was a good old boy and they were gonna, and so you know his he felt like he could fall under that cloak of white privilege. He felt like he could be shielded by the cloak of white privilege because he did what everybody told him to do. The Bill Cosbys of the world. Hey Yoli, the Bill Cosbys of the world, who was running around telling us black people that the problem was us and the fact that, oh, y'all too ghetto and y'all too this and y'all too that. And the problem is y'all black people. And he started to smell the coffee and thought he was going to be protected under the, cloak and mantle of white privilege. He couldn't necessarily wear the breastplate of white supremacy because he's not white, but he felt like he could, hide under the cloak of white privilege. Y'all see what he had going on and see all that he had going on wrongly. And so the picture that I'm telling you is a lot of these good old boys that fall in line, that do what they tell them to do, that feel like they can go under the cloak and guise of white privilege. The reason that they do that is they are back channel doing a whole lot of horrible things, deplorable things. And the problem is the people who are white and have their mantle of white privilege and their breastplate of white supremacy about them, they want to highlight the people that don't want no parts of coming under your mantle of white privilege. They don't want to be white. They don't want to associate with you white people. They are beautifully black and love being black. But you want to call out every little thing they do. You want to make them come out and look like a horrible person. And that's where we go. And sports amplifies this because we have so many cases, we don't even have to begin to name the names of so many athletes, black athletes that are out here and did something that you was like, really, it's really not that bad. We had an example this week. Look at Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce really didn't do nothing. Paul Pierce had a camera slip. He had strippers at his house. If the man paid strippers to dance, let him dance. It ain't no problem. It was consensual. It wasn't like he had a whip and was saying, dance, dance. He was playing cards. He hired strippers. The strippers came and did what they did. But now he's fired because he don't want to come under your mantle of white supremacy. I mean, your mantle of white privilege. But a whole bunch of these people that do, y'all protect them by every stretch of the imagination. So they're allowed to run around doing all kinds of, injustices and, all types of awful things. I mean, they're allowed to be just total miscreants, just nefarious things that they get to do. And for a while, they have this protection under the cloak of white privilege until some of your people that actually have a mantle and cloak of white privilege and the breastplate of white supremacy come out and say, oh, he did me wrong. Now, oh, you can't protect him no more. I'm taking it all the way back to the plantation. When you had the ones that was in the house that might have been doing things that they weren't supposed to be doing, it was okay. Massa protected them. But the moment they did the wrong thing to Massa's daughter or son or Massa's wife and made them go up to Massa and say, your little slave over there bothered me, what Massa did immediately turned on him. All right, thank you, Tabitha. Immediately turned on them and said, nope, go your ass out there. You about to get whipped and beat just like the rest of your people. Let me remind you that you are one of them, even though you thought you wasn't. And then they got to come back over here, tail between their legs, trying to get embraced by us, who been out here being bothered the whole time. And look at, oh, hey, bro. Hey, sis. Hey, cuzzo. Remember me? Oh, you want us to remember you now. But you was over there when you talk about us and trying to disassociate from us. Y'all see where I'm going with this. Watson is not fired from the NFL, NBA. He is not. He is still employed by the NFL. He is still the starting quarterback of the NFL Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson has not been fired. Sponsors are pulling away from him. The NFL is now ramping up its investigations, even though they've known about this for quite some time. NFL, where was it? See, NFL, there should be the same energy if there's one or two accusers as there is now, when there are 22 of them. And let's be clear, there's been 22 of them for at least a few days, almost a week now. And y'all weren't making no statements, NFL, when there were 22. But now that we've had one of these accusers come out on camera, and now that she looks, a little pale, now all of a sudden, oh, we have to look into this now. Let us reach out to Tony Buzbee and see if we can, have his some of the accusers come and talk to us. A mess. Just a damn mess. That is, ladies and gentlemen, the curious case of Deshaun Watson. This is probably, I should put part one, because I'm sure this is not over by any stretch of the imagination. As a matter of fact, it's just getting started. It's just getting to the good part. Oh, it's about to get good, real. Look for Deshaun Watson and his team of people now to have all of the black organizations trying to fight for them. Oh yes, Jason, Ben Roethlisberger had a ton of accusers. Ben Roethlisberger also went to ESPN and told them, by no stretch of the imagination, you will not put this on your network anymore, or I will not do any more interviews. I won't talk to your network, and I will have my attorneys put out things that makes you not even be able to mention my name on your network. And because he was one of the good old boys, played for the Roonies and the Steelers, because we did, there are certain heralded franchises in the NFL: the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Green Bay Packers, even the Kansas City Chiefs. There are certain teams in the NFL that you don't play with. And so when the starting quarterback of the, you know, multiple Super Bowl winning starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers tells you, I'm not going to have anything to do with your network unless you make this go away, you make it go away. And the horrible and heinous things that Ben Roethlisberger did, I mean, do we really need to go down the road of the Pouncey boys? Because as awful as y'all think Aaron Hernandez was, the Pouncey twins are exponentially worse. Exponentially worse. You all have no idea, but you ain't hearing about that. Oh yeah, the Cowboys in that whole conversation too. So this is not the last we're going to hear about this. Y'all know I love doing these little exposés that I do, where I can come out and we can unpack some things and really paint the picture. Now, I expect some of my other fellow YouTubers and other people to get on this case, Jaded and some of my other people, to really, look into it. And maybe there are some things that I might have left out or missed or forgotten, or there are certainly going to be other things that come along with this particular situation with Deshaun Watson. I fully expect Deshaun Watson's team of people to start having all of the black entities come behind him. You're going to start to see them embrace the blackness now, because now that it's out, now that it's out, what? You know how this is going to play out. Now all of the black entities are going to come out and say, oh, y'all doing Deshaun Watson so wrong. Damn the black women that are accusing him, okay? But they gonna fight. Y'all know how this is about to play out. Mark my words. It's gonna happen. It's about to happen. Because he no longer has the mantle of a white privilege to protect him anymore. So now they're looking for us as black people to protect him. I'm telling you how this is about to go. Damn the black women that we should be protecting from people like him, they're gonna want us to. The black race to protect him anyway. I saw that was Darius. I think his name is Darius Murray, I believe. I saw that on my Instagram, and it was pretty horrific. I saw that little baby. The yeah, I saw that. Anyway, we're about to get out of here. Can I get some shondos in the chat? I hope y'all enjoyed this little unpacking, this expose um that we were able to do today. I haven't had one this involved since the Colin Kaepernick one from a year and a half ago, way back in 2019. So yeah, hope y'all enjoyed. Shondo's around the building. Shondo's in the chat. Um, glad y'all came and listened. Thank you all for indulging me on this. I know I didn't read a lot of the comments because I was enthralled in what I had to say. So I apologize. But I'll be live again and we can talk some more about it. What's tomorrow? Thursday. I'll probably go live again tomorrow. So if you want to talk more about it. Yeah, it's really a lot. Um, let me see if I can do this now, and then I'll put it in the chat. Um, um, hold on, hold on. I want to see if I can put the packets in the chat for y'all so that y'all can um where did I go to get the oh, here it is. Because I want to see if I can put that in there. Hoxton, oh no, interesting case on how you can quickly rise and fall. Listen, it is I sometimes I have things that come across my desk and I go, wait, what? And it makes me stop. And it makes me go, wait a minute, let me look into this. And this was one of those cases that I knew from the beginning. I just knew. I said, yeah, this is going to pique my interest. And it certainly it has. And and like I said, you haven't heard a lot of people saying anything because of all of the stuff that we just unpacked, for all of the reasons that we just talked about, for all of the reasons. I can't find. I might have to go. Hold on and get this. What I'll do is when I find it, I'll put it in the I'll put it in my description box. And uh, I'll put it in my description box, and that way you can go. And oh, it's Morris, not Murray. I said Darius Murray. Huh? It's Morris. I'm sorry. Um, but when I get the link to the packets, so you all can go and read the packets for yourself and look at them. um, yeah, yeah. So yeah, like I said, Nike and Beats by Dre have disassociated themselves with um Deshaun Watson. Hold on. I'm trying to see if I get before I get off here if I can get this link for y'all. Cause it's a lot. It's a lot. Listen, I know some of y'all um are like this kind of stuff just like I do. And y'all are really gonna go in and start to do y'all own investigative reporting. Hey, I say to you, you go and you do your own research. Don't just take my word for it, 'cause it's all out there. It is all out there for public consumption. Anyway, that's all I got for y'all today. Thank you all so very much for um being here. Thank you for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for um all your contributions, any and all contributions made to the channel. I love y'all. I love on y'all. Until next time, that is all I have for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out.